Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Wrestling Rundown, and you know what they always say, TGIWW. Thank God it was Wednesday. Okay, that's not what they say, but that's what I'm saying, because thank God it was Wednesday, because Wednesday means NXT, and NXT was fucking awesome this week. But before we get to NXT, we also have some other news that came in on Wednesday, and that is the first 8 competitors that will compete in this year's WWE UK tournament. This will happen on June 18th and 19th, except for the first round that'll actually happen at the Download Festival when NXT does its tour of the UK. So here's who we have so far. We have 2 guys representing Scotland. First off, we have Kenny Williams, who showed up last night on 205 Live. And we also have Joe Coffey. Me and Kevin Hawk have seen a little bit of Joe Coffey. He's been in a few different promotions here and there. And he's a fantastic wrestler, so it'd be really cool to see him get involved in all this stuff. We also have, the rest of the guys are all from England. We have El Ligero, which we know a lot of. Dan Mastiff, I know a little bit of. 205 Live's Jack Gallagher joins the fray. Zach Gibson, I've heard a little bit about. Amir Jordan is brand new to me. I don't think I've ever seen him wrestle at all, but I'm excited to see it. And returning for the second year in a row, Joseph Connors. So the first 8 have been announced. Go to WWE.com, check out their whole bios, and you can see a little bit of like their weight, their height, their finishing move, a little bit about them, all that fun stuff. But looking forward to in just over a month the WWE UK tournament coming back. Last year's was great. Looking forward to this one. Whew! But let's get into NXT, because holy shit, we had a lot of stuff happen. First off, we had Tommaso Ciampa come out. First we thought it was Johnny Gargano, and it was Tommaso coming out to Johnny's music just to piss off the crowd. Came out to piss off the crowd a little bit more. Had Candice LeRae come out, and Candice was just, I loved this confrontation. You can already see where this is going. But Candice came out and said, you know what? Tommaso made a big deal about how Johnny didn't come out and confront him, that he sent his little lovely blonde wife out to do it for him, and she says, well, you know what? My husband's future may be in question, but at least you will always know that Johnny Gargano was better than you. Tommaso started to run his mouth a little bit more, then he got slapped upside the head. So, fantastic story building through all of this. Tommaso still pissing people off. Crowd still hates him. It's fantastic. We also had Lacey Evans defeat Brandi Lauren. Brandi Lauren we talk about on Indie News occasionally. She shows up in Shine. And then Lacey Evans was attacked by Kairi Sane, who she's had some not so nice things to say about the Pirate Princess. So Kairi Sane looking to get a little bit of retribution against Lacey Evans. Aleister Black commented on both Ricochet and Velveteen Dream, assuming that they would be a number 1 contender for the NXT Championship. And he said, becoming NXT champion, I've realized that you have a target on your back when you become champion. But if if it does come down to him and one of the other 2, they need to realize that at that point, they will be the target. Dakota Kai was commenting on Nikki Cross until Nikki Cross showed up. This was a real weird situation. We didn't talk about Nikki Cross actually being backstage after the Shayna Baszler Dakota Kai situation last week. So Nikki actually was kind of the driving force to potentially push Dakota to facing Shayna Baszler, to really, get her over this fear of Shayna Baszler. She kept telling her to face her fear, that, fear, fear breeds opportunity, or something like that. And so maybe it's Nikki's just crazy inner workings that's going to push Dakota to actually face Shayna Baszler, because essentially Dakota's picking up some pretty good wins here and there. And so she might be the first in line to get a shot against Shayna Baszler, which would be really weird if she's absolutely terrified of the person that she's facing for a title. So we'll see where that goes. Then we did have Ricochet versus Velveteen Dream. I was real worried about this because me and Kevin Hawk, I don't know if we mentioned on the video, but we were hoping, actually Kevin Hawk brought it up, and I thought it was a great idea that we would want them to wait, never touch each other until they finally face each other at TakeOver. They had a match. Short match, fantastic. Ricochet on top of his shit, Velveteen doing exactly what he said he was going to do, and really, like, anything Ricochet can do, he can do better. He's just trying to keep up with him the whole time. So much fun to watch. But it becomes a no contest when Lars Sullivan comes out and destroys both of them. So then we see Kathy Kelly later trying to catch up to Ricochet and say, you know, hey, after what happened with Lars Sullivan, like, you know, what are you expecting? And he's trying to get William Regal's attention. He's knocking on his door. Velveteen shows up. Both of them go in. And now next week, we are getting a handicap match. Ricochet and Velveteen Dream versus Lars Sullivan. Very interesting to see where that goes. Kona Reeves beat Raul Mendoza. Heavy Machinery challenged TM61 to a rematch next week. Not quite sure if that match is happening yet or not. And then in the main event, we had 1-2 Pete. That's the name I'm giving him. Oney Lorcan, Danny Burch, and Pete Dunne defeat the Undisputed Era in another fantastic match. I'm going to be real. It's very difficult to pick what I liked, loved, and disliked because my dislike is very minuscule. I'm going to knock it out right now because this video is going to end on a high note. I just want Raul Mendoza to do something fun. I want him to get a storyline. I don't put him on 205 Live. Have him win. I don't know. Put him in a tag team or something. This guy is fantastic. Kona Reeves. Bleh. But no, Raul Mendoza is a fantastic wrestler. Has some of the best high-flying stuff going right now. I'd love to see him go against someone like Ricochet or just anyone. Give Raul Mendoza something more than the jobber spot because this guy is awesome. One of the many underutilized guys that stuck around after the Cruiserweight Classic. Him and Fabian Eichner. But my like goes to Ricochet versus Velveteen Dream. As awesome as this was, I'm going to keep it at like because I know it's only going to get better. I was very worried that they did the match already, but the fact that they're building this a little bit more, they're going to, make the two of them. I want to see them try to one-up each other, trying to beat down Lars Sullivan next week, and maybe that's their undoing. That's how Lars Sullivan wins the handicap match, because that'll keep all three of them looking great, but still keep that tension between Velveteen and Ricochet. But what I saw them do against each other already is fantastic, and that only bodes well for their potential. Maybe they'll have the undercard match at TakeOver Chicago, and they'll be like a number one contenders to see who faces Aleister Black or whomever the champion may be. It'll probably still be Aleister Black. But regardless, looking forward to see this build. It stays at my like because my love... Just because it's exactly what I wanted. It was on my love a couple weeks ago. The Tommaso, Candice LeRae. Candice being the proxy for Johnny Gargano in this storyline is amazing. It's very rare that you get someone who is supposed to be out of action actually off of TV. It's the plus side to NXT because they shoot, multiple episodes at a time, so the person doesn't have to show up every single week. Or doesn't have to travel. Johnny might show up in a couple weeks, maybe the week before Money in the Bank or before TakeOver, just to really build this. And that's fantastic. But to have someone who is so not only emotionally connected to Johnny Gargano, but also to Tommaso, Candice LeRae plays this role so well. It is so... It feels so real that she has this dislike for Tommaso. She doesn't understand why Tommaso is doing the things that he does. And it makes for great storytelling. And Tommaso plays the heartless bastard so well that the dichotomy, I think that's the word. The difference you have in personas there, where like Candice is so mad, but you feel so deeply for it, and you just want to hate Tommaso Ciampa. Like, if this was the Attitude Era, I can almost guarantee Tommaso probably would have dropped Candice. Not necessary. Just to have Johnny or just to have Tommaso smile after getting slapped was more than enough of like a hey. Candice, you can do whatever you want, but I took out Johnny Gargano. And just poking and prodding and like making fun of Johnny and kind of Candice at the same time. The story is fantastic. It's going to lead to another amazing match between Johnny and Tommaso. This whole storyline has been fantastic. The fact that it feels just as fresh as it did when Tommaso turned on Johnny Gargano last year. Amazing. Looking forward to all this building. I really can't say anything. The whole show was great. I want to give a shout out to the 6-man tag match, because the 6-man tag match was fantastic. I'll give that as the love for Kevin Hawk, because I know he loves not only Pete Dunne, but he loves to see Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan picking up a win. Plus, the match itself was fantastic. This now gives Oney and Danny a tag team title shot, because Danny pinned Roddy? I don't quite remember who got pinned, but Danny Burch picked up the pinfall, so that, they pinned the tag team champions. That automatically kind of puts them in that spot. Does that, maybe we have Pete Dunne versus Adam Cole, champion versus champion, both titles on the line or something like that. Even though, I think that is... The UK tournament will be just after Money in the Bank, I believe, like a week or so after. So if I don't know, anything can happen. It's so much fun. Lots of great stuff going on. All the undercard stuff, fantastic. I love NXT. There's no new updates for Lucha Underground, but that's actually going to be starting the same week as the UK tournament. So midweek is getting big. Midweek is fantastic. All kinds of fantastic stuff. I don't know what else to say except thanks for all the new subscribers that have showed up. I appreciate you all. Thank you for everyone who's been watching or listening to the podcast while I've been solo this week. Kevin Hawk should be back next week. Thomas Wolf should be back next week. But for now, guys, thanks for watching. You know the drill. Click all the links down below. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on all the social media. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the podcast. That's the SoundCloud link. Also, check out Reasonable Wrestling Fans. That's Reasonable with a W, like wrestling, where you can get the list with Kevin Hawk, question of the week with Thomas Wolf when he finds his way out of time. You can get unboxing videos. One should be coming up in just a couple of days. We have punishment videos, and we have other videos that are loosely based around wrestling. But for now, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you at whatever video you decide to watch next. And fuck Modus. Damn.